Okay, welcome to another video. I've been a bit redundant lately with regard to movie review videos. Sickness and health being taking its toll, but I'm on my way back, and today I'm going to review the 1961 movie Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's directed by Blake Edwards, screenplay by George Axelrod, and it's based on the book Breakfast at Tiffany's, written by Truman Capote. In the cast, and there will be a slide with all details of this. The cast, anyway, Audret Hepburn in the lead role is Holly Golightly. George Peppard plays Paul Varjak. Patricia Neal is Mrs. Emily Eustace Felinson. Buddy Ebsen plays Doe Golightly. And Martin Balsam is O.J. Birdman. And there are a number of other sort of supporting cast, and so you'll get all that on the slide. Now, with regard to the awards, the awards at the Oscars, notably the Best Musical Original Song sung by Johnny Mercer, his rendition of Moon River won the award, and it also won Best Music Score by the famous musician and director Henry Mancini. There were nominations for a number of other categories. Audrey Hepburn for Best Actress, Axelrod for the Best Writing Screenplay. At the Golden Globes, it also got one for Best Art Direction and nominations for Best Motion Picture in Comedy. And of course, there was a nomination for Audrey Hepburn as the Best Actress. And so let's get on now to the meat of the movie. Basically, we've got a romantic comedy with the two lead roles, Holly and Paul, having rather questionable morals, it might be said. And the characters were both quite flawed. But that's part of the comedic aspect to this Capote script. Hepburn, though, was somewhat cooky and almost intoxicating, very likeable and easily to get sympathy from the audience. It opened to a rendition of Moon River, and a delectably hot Hepburn emerges from a taxi early in the morning as dawn breaks in New York City. And we quickly find out that she also visits the local penitentiary to visit a top-ranking mafia guy. She's there just to cheer him up, although she is getting some financial remuneration, $100 in total. So we get an immediate picture of the sort of girl this character is. So we see Holly as a woman who clearly likes to play the field. She doesn't want to get tied down. She moves from man to man, and she enjoys this style of life. The parties that we witness are full of likeable, rich characters who are basically taking fun to its limit. And this is the atmosphere in which the film takes place. And she quickly acquaints herself with Paul, who's also moved into the apartment block, the same one that Holly lives in. And shortly, she appears in his room. She's escaping from a man she's trying to ditch. It's a rather crazy scene, and she ends up joining young Paul in his bed. But it's 1961, folks, so we don't actually witness any hanky-panky, although it's suggested that would have taken place. Paul, in contrast, is a little bit like a gigolo figure. Predictably, Paul takes a shine to Holly, albeit he finds her difficult to handle. The landlord, played by Mickey Rooney, is constantly having confrontations with Holly about her behaviour. Men littered around the apartment at strange times. His character is completely over the top, and a bit of a disappointing aspect to the movie. Hepburn, however, is superb. Her character is appealing, very flirtatious. Pepper's character lacked real depth, it has to be said, and is somewhat superficial. He adopts a sort of older brother, keeping an eye on her as she goes about her extravagancy. A sense of fantasy about their relationship builds, and it builds into something slightly romantic. Although Holly is repellent to this move somewhat, and is really not into an intimate closeness, preferring a superficial relationship. There's a sort of curious plot development midway when Doe Golightly, played by Ibsen, appears, and he is apparently Holly's ex-husband, and he wants to reconnect with his wife, but this crazy situation is really only a side show, and she then continues by visiting the mafia boss again to get us back on par. The conclusion is quite inevitable. The appearance, though, by Holly's cat is worth noting as a very symbolic and significant towards the end of the movie. There's also a fantasy of going to Brazil with some young rich lover that she comes across at a party. This enters the script, and it's a bit of a curio. There she gets arrested because of someone that she knows who's been wanted by the police, and there's a suggestion of narcotics being involved again. But again, this is a sort of side plot, really, which is, at times becomes a little bit nauseating. The music is absolutely fantastic and totally appropriate for a romantic comedy. I quite like the movie, although it hasn't got a tremendous amount of depth, but it's worth it just to see Hepburn at work. Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961. Try and get to look at it.